Friends, Jai Sri Ram, welcome to Bharat Marg. Welcome Vinay ji. Thank you for joining Bharat Marg. Appreciate it highly. And it's a really a big news today. We are going to discuss about the bomb threat to Toronto Jewish School. Okay, let's discuss about it. Students evacuated. I have some serious questions to Vinay ji. Is it going to be the daily routine now in Canada? Okay, let's see what kind of things are happening. This is really the numbers of these kind of threats and things have increased a lot during on the last 45 days. And let's discuss with political analyst Vinay ji to get the real picture. And before we get started, friends, please make sure to like the video, comment on the video, share the video with as many people as you can, because with your help only we can reach out to the people as many as possible. And also, if you didn't subscribe the channel yet, please subscribe the channel and also press the notification bell to stay connected with us, so that whenever we go live, you get informed, so that you can come and join the part of the conversation, become part of it, right? And also, we send out one dharmic message every day now, in multiple languages. You can get it regarding Sanatan Dharma. And now you can just kind of send us a WhatsApp to +16479644790 and stay connected with the roots of Sanatan Dharma through your WhatsApp. Okay, Vinay ji, welcome.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Last, it was getting, it looks like it has gone from bad to worst. Bomb threat to Toronto Jewish School. And I'll also discuss with you some other pattern of things we are seeing. Anyway, students evacuated. What do you like to say about
Um, it's pretty disturbing actually when you hear these kind of threats, especially in the Toronto community. Uh, so the just to give a little bit of a background for the viewers and listeners, right? The school is basically it's called the Anne and Max Tannenbaum Community Hebrew Academy of Toronto. So they received an anti Semitic email that prompted the evacuation of staff and students on Friday morning, just 2 days ago. So, and this is not the first time. This is apparently the second time that the school has reported, such a threat or threatening email. All right. So the head of the private Jewish, school was speaking out after staff received an email, and apparently it was a bomb threat on and around the school property. And the funny thing was the email came in on at 11 a.m. on Friday morning, and that said there were a number of bombs in or around the school, and that many Jews were going to die today. That was the message. Okay, so Jonathan Levy, that's the head of the school, was speaking to reporters, and he said that other administrative staff at the Anne and Max Tannenbaum Community Hebrew Academy of Toronto and North York received an email, and he said the police were immediately alerted and they were called to investigate, and staff and students were evacuated. They evacuated the building. Now the police came in, looked around, searched the building, did a comb operation, and and nothing.
this? Is after evacuating the students, or how did it
Correct.
work?
After evacuating the students, the police came and sometime after 11 o'clock, and they started to comb the building for any suspect material or whatever. Right. Nothing was found, and the people were allowed to return to the building around 1:45 p.m. So basically,
The
around
students,
close to about 3 hours
students.
they were outside.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, the continuing what Levy was saying, he said, as a community, we are incredibly upset and outraged that these kinds of anti-Semitic events continue to take place. And he thanked the Toronto police for the speed with which they have assisted us today, as well as over the past number of weeks during the time of increased anti-Semitism and increased signs of hate. Um, but the thing is, let's go back a little bit when this first threat happened on October 12th, about a month ago, right? Apparently, 3 males were arrested after allegedly making threats to the school. But we don't have names of these 3 males because, for whatever reason, in the media, what I've noticed in especially in Toronto, Canada, is that the media houses do not publish the names of accused in many cases, and I kind of wonder why. And it could be the reason, you don't want to hurt a particular segment of society, you don't want to hurt a particular community, or whatever it is.
Or
But
you want to protect a particular community.
or to protect a particular community. But isn't it fair for the rest of us to know who is behind this? Maybe I know this person personally. Maybe, I need to be aware of this thing, or something like that. And it's unfortunate that the names are not published, and it kind of keeps us guessing as to who was arrested, and and so on and so forth. And we don't even know whether it was a hate crime or what it is. But apparently, in this particular case, the force has said that its hate crime unit is investigating. We don't know whether it's hate crime for a fact, because the police have
And,
not
and
revealed.
one thing about Canada is the investigation never finishes.
Well, it takes its own course, actually, unfortunately, and they do their job and whatever. And sometimes they also depend on Five Eyes to get the investigation completed. So, and sometimes they have credible allegations against the people and countries and whatever, right? So we don't know what goes on. So, and this is the unfortunate part. But at the same time, this is the irony. Okay, this is I'm not joking with the audience or with you. The Jewish community has reported that there's anti-Semitism, there's hate crime, there are bomb threats and all kinds of threats and stuff like that. But the Muslim community is not too far behind, right? So they also complained
Uh,
on
that's
Thursday.
that's exactly I wanted to put as my second question. Whenever there is a threat, immediately there is a threat to mushrooms from the close by a mosque or something like that. This becomes a pattern.
It kind of does. Okay. So the funny thing is that the Muslim community threat came one day before the Jewish community threat. Okay. So York Regional Police dispatched officers to a Muslim community center in Vaughan after it received a bomb threat. Officers searched the Jafari Community Center and found nothing threatening. York Police said its hate crime unit was alerted, but the investigation will be led by the local district. There's no word on any potential suspects at this time. So that's the fact of the matter, and that's the kind of reporting that was done. Okay, and yeah,
It's so interesting in Canada. Even in the hate crimes, they kind of balance it out so that nobody gets offended. Isn't that funny?
I don't know if it is it's there's a conspiracy behind us, or if it's actually a fact. I don't know. Like, I can only speculate, right? And I don't want to speculate in this matter because it's a pretty sensitive matter, because it's under police investigation, and I don't want to be roped into any police investigation. But the irony is, yes, you're right. It kind of balances out, because now you have a threat call to a Muslim community center on Thursday. Following day at 11 a.m., you have a threat call to a Jewish community center. Okay, so basically, I'm not sure what's happening.
And Vinayji, I just want to just deviating apart from the subject. I have a question for you. 1 year, okay, 20 plus Hindu organizations have been vandalized. It's not we are talking about threat, vandalized. But none of these Canadian media ever covered these things. but now they are becoming the whole flag bearers of the hate crime for them and them. What? How do you find this
No, you know what?
hypocrisy?
The funny thing is, like, when the Hindu community was attacked, and it's continuing to be attacked. It's not that it stopped. Okay, just recently, you heard this Pannun, who is the chief counsel or whatever, so-called SFJ, the Sikhs for Justice organization, which is a Khalistani, sympathizer.
Represent many of the Canadian terrorists. Yeah.
Right, and this is it's a Canadian terrorist organization. So this particular Canadian terrorist, and he's also an American, so he's got a dual citizenship. So this man openly threatened the Hindus to say that you have to leave this country. What happened? Nothing. And then following that, he had more guts, and he threatened that on the 19th of November, which is today, Sunday, he asked the Sikh community not to fly in Air India because he said, we are going to be planting bombs on Air India flights, and anything could happen. So this is the amount of threat.
And
But
the Deepavali Mela Hindu community was stoned.
right. So all this happened, and so there is significant hate crime here. There's apparent, like blatant and open high hate crime. However, Canada believes in freedom of speech. Canada believes in freedom of expression. So as a result, you are not allowed to arrest these people because then it'll counter, or it'll be kind of it won't justify the argument of Canada being a supporter
No,
of freedom of speech.
one thing is weird. Okay, how they treat the Abrahamic community
Mhm.
versus non-Abrahamic. Yeah, for the hate crime against Abrahamic community is a hate crime.
Yeah.
Even you hit the people, you steal the people, you vandalize the people, you kill the people who are non-Abrahamic. They are not even a human being in Canada.
Yeah, this
Do
is
you
this
think?
is part of the deal. I mean, we just talked about how Indian temples have been vandalized, and you and I have covered a few videos on that. We even brought some of the priests who are actually victims of this particular desecration and vandalization and all that stuff, right? But despite that, nothing has happened and no arrests have been made, and people have gotten scot free. And you saw recently how Khalistani forces drew graffiti on the walls of Swaminarayan Temple in
And many
Toronto,
temples, many Hindu
and
temples were
many other
attacked.
temples, right? I mean, I'm just quoting the most
No,
recent.
but the media never even opened the
Never
mouth.
opened because I'm not sure why, because a hate crime is hate
Because you are
crime.
non-Abrahamic. For them,
But
Abrahamic is a
but
human
here
being. Non-Abrahamic is not a
exactly. But
human
here's
being.
the thing, right? Like when Hindus are attacked, it becomes freedom of speech. It's not hate crime anymore. So I think there is a law or bylaw or some kind of a
Law of
covert law, I should
hypocrisy.
say.
Law of hypocrisy.
Law of hypocrisy, a fantastic word. Yeah, exactly. Law of hypocrisy that basically says that, you know what, any hate crime committed against the Hindu community is freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So we cannot pursue this. However, when it comes to any other religion or any other community, the free
Who
hate crime
Abrahamic?
is
Abrahamic.
Abrahamic, and
Let's be
it's
specific.
yeah, and it becomes a big deal because then the police jump in and arrests are made. Because I just talked about 3 arrests that were made with the Jewish community when things happened on October 12th against the same Jewish community center. So this is what it is, and people, and it's kind of, again, I don't want to speculate too much because things are under police investigation. So, but unfortunately, this is what is going on.
But let me make it one thing clear. Okay, the community that supports Hindus in Canada is a Jewish community. We have a very, very strong bond. There is no question about it. Okay, when we point out how the media is acting, because even as you know, Hindu phobia bill has been brought by the Jewish MP and not by the Hindus, Hindu
Correct.
politicians. They are afraid of doing these things. This has to be kept in mind. But uh, I want to ask you this,
Hmm.
Vinayji. You know, how many places around the world you have seen people going, Jew people going and bombing? Because nowadays you are getting so many threats against a mosque in Canada. So I will love to know if you can give me any data on
I
Jewish
seriously,
going inside.
yeah, I follow this very closely across the globe, and I don't believe I have missed anything. And I have really not come across, Jewish people planting bombs covertly, and
Like a coward,
doing
go back, go behind and kill the innocent people. That's not what
exactly that in an act of cowardice, right? So they have never seen that,
war is.
or
Different thing.
engaging in any extremist or terrorist activities. I've never seen, and there's no Jewish organization that calls itself a terrorist or an extremist organization. I've never come across that.
Yeah,
And the
but
only
why it
terrorist
is
and
so
extremist
much now it
organization
is
that I've
happening in Canada. Whenever there is a Jewish person attacked, immediately the other person gets a threat. Whenever
But
a Jewish
who is
school,
the threat coming from? I'm not sure. Jewish people have never threatened. If they want to attack somebody, they will go and attack directly. They are not the kind of people who will hide behind women and children and bomb somebody and go again and hide in a hospital basement or hide behind women and children. I have never come across
actually, my heart was really pleasing. They were sending medicines into the Gaza hospital. You know, food distribution was happening for the patients and all the. It is unbelievable. But anyway, keeping that aside, I have one last question to you. Okay, Vinayji. Now, if there is a sex offender, there is supposed to be a database, right? If somebody is renting a home or anything like that, I know in America it does. I don't know about Canada. You can let me know if there is a sex offender or something. They can check the database and then they can rent the place. So when these kind of extremist elements are involved, if somebody is renting the home, somebody is renting their business place to them or anything like that, is there a way to check up the person is a good person for you to give it? Is there any? Do you think there is a need for it? Is there any?
Absolutely. In Canada, we do have that law. The law came into force just around probably about 10-15 years ago, if I remember right. The law did not exist before, actually.
Stephen Harper time.
Stephen Harper time, exactly, or even before, if I'm not wrong, maybe John
Uh,
Creston.
15 years is 15 years is Stephen Harper time,
Probably, yeah, you're right. About 15 years ago, it could be Stephen Harper or just
because he was
before.
three-term prime minister. Yeah.
Correct. So basically, the law is basic. I think if you remember the Carla Homolka, she was a serial killer, who was the girlfriend of Bernardo, right? Paul Bernardo. So this is a very very famous case in Canada, actually those days. So when Carla Homolka was acquitted, okay, because she kind of they let her out after they didn't acquit her, but she served a a short term in the prison, and then she was let go, right? So the law basically was that you have to let the community, okay, know that a person is going to be living in this particular place, okay. So let's say he moves to a community in Brampton. All right, let's say that particular community. I'm kind of narrowing it down to a certain, like, three or four roads, three or four streets, right? All the people in that community, the residents, have to be informed that my, dear sir, madam, whoever, please note that this particular person who is a sex offender is living in house number 2 of some X blah 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 street. You have to be extremely specific where he is living. And the person who is actually renting that place obviously would have been informed before itself that this person is moving into this area. So, yes, there is a law for that.
But like that, the extremists who are coming in,
No, there is no such
is there a
thing.
mechanism? Because now the media is also concealing the names, so nobody will know. Their
No.
police is
This,
concealing the
the
face
only,
identity.
yeah, the only law is that this person should have served a sentence in Canada. Only then he becomes a sex offender, right? Only if he
No,
has
no,
served
I'm
a
not
sentence.
talking about. I'm not talking about sex offender. I'm
No, no,
talking
I'm just
about
saying
the
whether it's a
extremist.
sex offender or a terrorist or whatever, right?
Let us assume. Let us assume Omar Khalid. You know
If
who?
he has served a sentence, if a Canadian court has sentenced him, and if he has served a 5 year, 2 year, 1 year,
It's only
10 years,
for sex offender thing, or these kind of bomb things, or extremist
it's
also
mostly
is.
it's mostly for sex offenders. Okay. And if he's a hardcore terrorist, which we have not seen too many here in Canada, we
Mhm.
don't. I mean, I have not come across a terrorist.
No, here, Canada is a great place. Here, the terrorists are kept in Gurudwara as a
Yeah, pretty much. So you
heroes,
don't come across. I have not
like
come across
Kanishka bomb,
even the
airline
Kanishka
bombers.
bombing. The people who were accused were let go. They were acquitted, right? So
Not only
so
that,
that's
their photos are celebrated as heroes in Canada.
yeah, and it's openly celebrated, and nobody cares. So really, who was there? Was there anyone who was really sentenced for a very very long time? No, I don't think so. I mean, Ripudaman Singh was let go, and then there was another guy, Bug Chair, somebody, and
Niger was let go.
yeah. So these guys are all like
Niger was let go.
yeah. So really, what has happened is, if so, just coming back to your question, if a person has been sentenced by a Canadian court and you have served a sentence, and this has to be a serious crime. Okay, so I'm assuming terrorism would come under serious crime. That then only then the community is going to be informed.
Anyway, thank you very much, Vinayji, for joining us. Appreciate it highly,
Thank
and
you.
looking forward to seeing you again. And thank you again. And Jai Sri Krishna, Jai Sri
Krishna ji.
Krishna.
Thank you.